The very first principle on the path to true strength is to acknowledge and see clearly. Before a warrior can face an opponent, he must first know his enemy. He must study their movements, understand their weaknesses, and recognize their deceptive strategies. In the same way, before you can control your desires, you must first stop and truly see them. This is not about fighting them, but about a detached, objective observation. Most people are a slave to their desires precisely because they don't even recognize them as separate from themselves. They act on an impulse without ever questioning its origin or its purpose. The first step is to simply create a space between you and the desire, to understand that a craving for a sweet or a need to check your phone is not an unchangeable part of who you are. It is simply a fleeting mental event. This act of observation requires a stillness of mind that is rare in our frenetic world. It is the practice of stepping back from the immediate urge and asking, what is this feeling? Where did it come from? What is its true nature? Often, when you shine the light of awareness on a desire, it begins to lose its power. The emotional charge that makes it feel so urgent and irresistible starts to dissipate. A craving to buy something, for instance, might be revealed to be a fleeting desire for novelty or a distraction from a deeper discomfort. By seeing it for what it is, a superficial impulse, you strip it of its emotional weight and its ability to command your actions. This key point is also about understanding the deceptive nature of desire. Like a cunning opponent, desire often disguises itself as something beneficial. It promises happiness, fulfillment, or comfort. It whispers that just one more will solve a problem or satisfy a need. But if you observe it clearly, you will see that its promises are hollow. The temporary pleasure it offers is quickly followed by emptiness, regret, or an even stronger craving for the next thing. To see clearly is to see through the illusion, to recognize that the fleeting satisfaction is a poor substitute for true, lasting contentment. It is to understand that the pursuit of external desires is an endless chase that can never be won. The practice of acknowledging and seeing clearly is not a one-time event. It is a continuous, moment-to-moment discipline. You must be vigilant like a sentry on watch. In every moment of temptation, whether it is an urge to speak when you should be silent, to eat something unhealthy, or to waste time, you must practice this technique. Stop, observe, do not act, do not judge. Simply witness the desire as it rises and falls within you. This is the foundation of all self-control. It is the creation of a powerful inner space, a calm center from which you can choose your actions deliberately rather than reacting blindly. By consistently applying this principle, you begin to change your fundamental relationship with your own mind. You move from being a passenger tossed about by every emotional wave to becoming the captain of your own ship. You learn to read the currents and the tides of your inner world, allowing you to navigate toward your true destination rather than being pulled off course by every whim. The ability to observe your desires without being consumed by them is the first victory on the path to mastering your own will. The second key to controlling your desires lies in the principle of harnessing your attention. A person's mind is like a wild horse. If left untethered, it will gallop in every direction, pulled by every passing sight and sound. Desire, in turn, is the weed that grows in the fertile soil of an unfocused mind. Where your attention lingers, your energy flows, and if you continuously focus on what you lack or on the objects of your desire, you will only strengthen their hold over you. True discipline, therefore, is not a forceful suppression of thought, but rather a redirection of your mental resources. It is the conscious act of choosing what you will focus on moment by moment. Think of your attention as a powerful spotlight. Most people shine this light aimlessly, illuminating every fleeting distraction, from social media notifications to idle daydreams. When the spotlight of your mind rests on a craving, it magnifies it, making it seem larger and more compelling than it truly is. To break this cycle, you must learn to deliberately turn that spotlight away from the objects of desire and toward a more constructive purpose. This is the essence of harnessing your attention. You are not fighting the craving directly. You are simply starving it of the energy it needs to grow. The warrior's path teaches that energy follows intention. When you pour your mental and physical energy into a demanding task, a long-term project, or a meaningful pursuit, there is simply no reserve left to waste on trivial desires. The act of creation, of building something of value, whether it is a new skill, a piece of art, or a stronger body, is an antidote to the destructive pull of desire. The mind, occupied with the challenge of mastery, finds less and less room for the whispers of temptation. The more you are engaged in a worthy struggle, the more your focus solidifies and the weaker your desires become. This practice also builds your internal fortress of will. Each time you deliberately shift your focus from a distraction to a purpose, you are performing a mental repetition that strengthens your ability to control your mind. It is a form of mental exercise. At first, it may feel difficult, like trying to lift a heavy stone, but with each repetition, the resistance lessens. You will find that your attention becomes more obedient, less prone to wandering, and more capable of staying on the chosen path. This disciplined focus becomes a habit, a reflex that serves as your most reliable defense against the fleeting whims of the world. In the end, this principle is about transforming your mind from a passive recipient of external stimuli into an active agent of your own purpose. You stop reacting to the world and start acting on it. You become the pilot of your own mental landscape, navigating toward your goals with a focused and unwavering will. The desires that once seemed like insurmountable obstacles are reduced to mere background noise, easily ignored by a mind that is fully and purposefully engaged. The third key principle is strategic avoidance, a concept often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality is a profound form of strength and wisdom. While true mastery lies in being able to withstand any temptation, the path to that mastery is not a straight line of constant confrontation. A seasoned warrior does not seek out every battle. He chooses his ground carefully and conserves his energy for fights that truly matter. Similarly, a person on the path to self-mastery does not rely solely on willpower to overcome every single impulse. True wisdom lies in recognizing the circumstances that weaken your resolve and consciously removing yourself from them. This principle is about building an environment that supports your goals rather than sabotaging them. Our surroundings exert a powerful influence over our minds and actions. If your home is filled with junk food, your phone is constantly buzzing with notifications, or your social circle encourages self-destructive habits, you are setting yourself up for a continuous and exhausting internal struggle. Strategic avoidance is the deliberate act of clearing your environment of these triggers. It is the conscious decision to unfollow social media accounts that breed comparison, to avoid walking past the bakery that tempts you, or to decline invitations to events that do not serve your higher purpose. This approach is not about running from your problems. It is about outsmarting them. It acknowledges the simple truth of human psychology. The easiest choice to make is often the one that is most readily available. By making the wrong choice less convenient and the right choice more accessible, you tip the scales in your favor. You are not relying on a fleeting moment of willpower to win a battle. You are using your foresight and wisdom to prevent the battle from ever happening. This creates a state of proactive control where you are the architect of your own circumstances rather than a victim of them. Furthermore, strategic avoidance is a form of self-respect. It shows that you value your long-term goals more than your short-term desires. By saying no to a tempting situation, you are sending a powerful message to yourself that your commitment to your purpose is non-negotiable. This act of protecting your mental space and your energy reinforces your identity as someone who is disciplined and in control. It builds a foundation of self-trust brick by brick, proving to yourself that you are a person who follows through on their intentions. Ultimately, this principle is an essential complement to the direct confrontation of desires. While you must learn to observe and manage your internal impulses, it is foolish to unnecessarily expose yourself to an overwhelming barrage of external temptations. The wise person understands their own limits and uses intelligence to create a life where good habits are the path of least resistance. It is the practice of shaping your world to support your will rather than constantly fighting against it. The fourth key to mastering your desires is to embrace discomfort. This principle is the forge where true character is hammered into shape. While a comfortable life might seem ideal, it is a great enemy of a strong will. A person who constantly seeks comfort and pleasure becomes soft and fragile, a slave to their own fleeting sensations. To build true inner strength, you must actively and intentionally expose yourself to hardship, not for the sake of suffering, but to build resilience and prove to yourself that you are not beholden to your immediate physical or mental state. The goal is to make the will, not comfort, the master of your actions. This is not about masochism, it's about building a resistance to the very forces that weaken you. Think of it like physical training. An athlete doesn't get stronger by avoiding heavy weights. They intentionally lift them to tear down and rebuild their muscles. In the same way, you build your mental and spiritual muscle by voluntarily pushing against what feels easy or pleasant. This can be as simple as taking a cold shower, fasting for a day, or choosing to walk a longer route. That is the number R. Each time you choose to endure a minor discomfort, you are casting a vote for your will over your desire for ease. By embracing these small acts of self-discipline, you are teaching your mind and body a powerful lesson, that you have the authority to override your innate desire for comfort. You are proving that you can feel an unpleasant sensation, like hunger, cold, or boredom, and still choose to remain in control. This practice separates your self from your sensations, allowing you to experience discomfort without being consumed by it. This is a profound form of freedom. You are no longer a victim of your own feelings, but a master of your response to them. Furthermore, the intentional embrace of discomfort fundamentally changes your perspective on hardship. Instead of viewing difficult situations as something to be avoided, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. A moment of frustration becomes a chance to practice patience. A physically grueling task becomes an opportunity to test your endurance. This shift in mindset transforms your life from a reactive struggle against unpleasantness into a proactive journey of self-improvement. You start to seek out challenges not because you enjoy pain, but because you value the strength and wisdom they provide. Ultimately, this principle is the antidote to the weakness born of modern convenience. In a world designed to cater to our every whim, the path to strength is found in resisting that pull. By regularly and intentionally choosing the harder path, you build an unshakable inner core. You become a person who is not afraid of life's difficulties and who is capable of facing any challenge, because you have already proven to yourself in 1,000 small acts that your will is stronger than your desires. The fifth key to controlling your desires is to cultivate gratitude. At its core, desire is often born from a feeling of lack. The belief that you do not have enough, are not enough, or that something external is required to complete you. This mindset of scarcity is a fertile ground for endless cravings. The act of cultivating gratitude is the deliberate and transformative practice of shifting your focus from what is absent to what is already present. It is the conscious recognition of the abundance that surrounds you, a realization that can starve the roots of desire and replace them with a profound sense of contentment. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture, it is a mental discipline. It requires you to stop and genuinely appreciate the small, often overlooked blessings of your life. This could be the simple warmth of a cup of tea, the feeling of health in your body, the support of a friend, or the quiet moment of solitude. By intentionally focusing on these things, you are training your mind to find richness and value in your current reality rather than constantly seeking it in a future acquisition or experience. This practice counters the pervasive modern notion that happiness is always just around the corner, available only after you acquire the next item or achieve the next milestone. Furthermore, a grateful mind is a resilient one. When you are centered in appreciation, the inevitable difficulties and challenges of life lose some of their sting. The desire to complain or to feel victimized is replaced by a sense of perspective. You learn to see hardship not as an unbearable burden, but as a temporary phase that does not negate the good that is still present. This resilience protects you from the emotional volatility that often fuels impulsive desires, the craving for comfort food when you're sad, or the need for a retail purchase to lift your spirits. The practice of gratitude also strengthens your connection to the present moment. Desire almost always pulls your mind into the future, a what if or if only scenario. Gratitude, however, anchors you firmly in the here and now. It forces you to pause and find joy and value in this exact moment as it is, without needing to change or acquire anything. This present moment awareness is a powerful weapon against the pull of desire, as it teaches you that fulfillment is not a destination, but a state of being that you can access at any time. Ultimately, by cultivating gratitude, that is the number R, you are actively choosing to rewrite the narrative of your life from one of perpetual want to one of immense abundance. This fundamental shift in perspective changes the very nature of your desires. They no longer feel like a void that needs to be filled, but rather like fleeting options that can be calmly considered and, more often than not, wisely passed by. Gratitude frees you from the endless chase allowing you to find a deep and lasting peace. The sixth key to controlling your desires is to find your why. This is arguably the most powerful principle, for without a compelling reason, all other techniques will eventually falter. Your discipline is only as strong as the purpose behind it. When you have a clear, deeply held reason for acting, a core purpose that defines your path, the fleeting whispers of desire become meaningless in comparison. The pull of a momentary indulgence simply cannot compete with the magnetic force of a long-term vision. Your why is the foundation upon which your will is built. It gives your actions meaning and transforms them from acts of forced denial into acts of committed purpose. Think of it as the difference between rowing aimlessly and rowing to a specific shore. If you are just rowing, every current and wave, every desire will pull you off course. The effort will feel pointless and it will be easy to give up. But if you have a clear destination in sight, every stroke of the oar is an affirmation of your purpose. The temporary discomfort of the effort is insignificant because you know exactly where it is taking you. Your why provides this clarity and direction, making the journey of self-control not a burden, but a necessary step toward a greater reward. This principle also helps you to connect your daily actions to your ultimate goals. Every small choice you make, to eat a healthy meal, to skip a night of binge watching, to wake up early for a workout, becomes a direct contribution to your why. Building a bad habit, but booting the body I need to achieve my full potential, or going down to work on my true calling. This reframing imbues a life with a sense of mission and make even the most mundane acts of discipline feel meaningful. Feel meaningful. Furthermore, a strong why acts as an anchor in times of struggle. When you feel a surge of temptation or face a moment of weakness, you can return to your core purpose and ask a simple but profound question. Does this action serve my why? Most of the time, the answer will be a resounding no. This simple reality check can instantly snap you out of the emotional spell of desire and reconnect you to the rational, purposeful part of your mind. It reminds you of the stakes and the true cost of giving in. Ultimately, finding your why is about living an intentional life rather than a reactive one. It requires introspection and honesty to unearth the core values and goals that truly matter to you. Once you identify this guiding star, you stop being a victim of your impulses and start being the author of your destiny. That is, your desires no longer lead you. Instead, they are forced to fall in line behind your purpose.